Yikes. Well, you know what they say. Better late than never. We're Redstone Robotics. For the past 10 weeks of our lives, we spent 24 hours every week building a robot to compete in FRC competitions. We've designed, redesigned, built, rebuilt, wired, rewired, programmed, and reprogrammed our robot countless times over to get it to where it is now. Through the efforts of an entire team of high school engineers, our robot was born and bred to be the best robot FRC has ever seen. After our last competition, we regrouped and identified our strengths and weaknesses. Our biggest and most pressing weakness is the backspin that we put on the cargo when fired. The amount of cargo we can grab and shoot is great, but because of the backspin, it more often than not bounces out. We tweaked much of our vision code and how our robot calculates the velocity it should shoot at to hopefully fix the issue. We also changed the hook on our robot to be dual-sided, making it easier to climb. We made some other minor changes all around the robot, such as changing gear ratios, making parts more sturdy, putting Loctite everywhere, and generally polishing up the robot. If what I've been saying sounds like gibberish, that probably means you haven't watched our prior competition video. In that video, I explained what FIRST is, what FRC is, how the game works, how our robot works, etc, etc. This video is a sequel to that one, and so this video is written assuming you've watched the video. So if you made it here and haven't watched that video, go do that. The video's also really good, so go watch it. And I'm not just saying that because I made it. And to answer a question I'm sure some of you are asking, why is this video coming out now? Well, the answer is that these videos take time. The first video took 3 weeks and well over 100 hours between sorting through all the footage, scripting, choosing what clips to use, editing, fixing audio, adding effects, recording lines, and on and on and on. The script for that video ended up at 22 pages. At the end of the day, I'm just a guy who does this in his spare time. And after that first video, I was incredibly burnt out, and I also got really busy with life stuff. Skip forward 8 months, and I finally feel ready to make videos again. So here we are. With all of that said and out of the way, cue the intro. Our second competition is held at our very own East Kentwood High School. Since this is our home competition, that means we have to do all the setup, which includes masonite, tarps, projectors, screens, AV equipment, and of course, the field. This is only possible thanks to our event sponsor Dematic, whose donation allowed us to set all this up. And I don't believe there's been a competition setup time-lapse as high quality or as long as this one is, so enjoy. And now with the competition set up, we're ready to start. And we're gonna get right into the action. Our first match is match 6. We're on the Red Alliance alongside Team 6090 Wayland Wildcats and Team 3458 Code Blue. On the Blue Alliance, there's 2054 Tech Vikes, 3357 Comets, and 8611 Cyber Patriots. Both Tech Vikes and Comets have phenomenal shooters as well as traversal climbs. 8611 is an every bot, so not much to worry about there. On our side, Wildcats possess an alright shooter, on par with ours, and a climber that can reach traversal. Code Blue also possesses an alright shooter and a mid-climb. This match essentially boils down to 3 mid-tier teams versus 2 high-tier teams. In the very best case scenario, our alliance makes most of our shots, and they miss most of their shots, and neither Comets nor Tech Vikes make it to traversal. And even in that impossible scenario, we just barely win. So, let's see it. Both Comets and Tech Vikes immediately shoot their 2 cargo, only one of which makes it into lower hub. Wildcats shoot 1 cargo which bounces out as we make 1 upper. Tech Vikes sinks a cargo high and Comets fires 2 more cargo, only one of which making it. And impressively, the human player on Red Alliance makes the shots. Sadly, the camera doesn't show them, so I don't know which team they're from. Auton ends with the scores squared up. Tally-up begins as all teams scramble to pick up cargo. Techvikes rallies 2 off into the upper hub and Wildcats following suit with one of their own. Code Blue quickly fires another off as we align to shoot and fire our cargo off to the left. Then Comets, Techvikes, and Wildcats fire off 6 cargo. Both Wildcats and Techvikes miss one of their shots, but Comets make both of theirs into high. Code Blue firing off 2 more cargo into the upper hub. On the other side of the field, Techvikes and Comets briefly pincer us. The latter firing 2 more cargo into high, and the former shooting off a red and blue cargo, which inexplicably, but totally intentionally, gets deflected by one of our own cargo. Comets shoot 2, which make it, and Wildcats shoot 2, which fall short. Code Blue fires 2, which both fall short. Comets and Techvikes both shoot 2, and both miss 1. Us and Wildcats retaliate with 4 cargo of our own, but sadly, all but one of ours miss. Before we can even breathe, Comets and Techvikes again fire off 4 cargo, all of which make it into high. Though one of the cargo Comets fired was red, gaining us points. Wildcats try to even the score, but they're too far away from the hub, missing both short. Us and Comets shoot 2 into the upper hub, but for once, our luck trades and we make both shots while they miss both. Code Blue during this time makes a clean shot as Techvikes, just like Comets, are struck by bad luck and miss both their cargo far. Techvikes tries again, but misses 1 short and 1 far. Comets then fires 2 cargo, but in another stroke of terrible luck, the first cargo rolls back and bounces into the second, causing both to miss. Code Blue, not wanting to waste the opportunity, makes 2 into the upper hub. Wildcats fire 2 cargo directly into the wall of the hub while we almost tip our entire robot on the low bar. For the first time since the beginning of the match, the scores are evened up, though it's short-lived as Comets and Techvikes both make 1 cargo into upper. Then us and Code Blue combined fire 3 cargo, all of which make it. Comets bookends our barrage with another cargo of their own. Wildcats once again fires 2 cargo short, and Comets makes yet another cargo into upper. Both alliances have now made 20 cargo total, giving both sides an RP point. We fire our cargo into the bottom of the upper hub as endgame starts. Wildcats climb into the mid bar as Comets do the same. Code Blue makes another cargo as Wildcats ascend to the high rung. Both us and Code Blue line up to climb. Comets, matching Wildcats' pace, makes it to the high rung. We try to climb in the mid rung, but our robot isn't stable, so we back off as Wildcats ascend to the traversal rung. Before our Comets can finish climbing, the match ends. The scores come up, and we win! 66-60. That best case scenario I was talking about earlier, well, somehow that happened. Around the midpoint of the match, the Blue Alliance just began to miss every single one of their shots, which allowed our alliance to come back with consistency. I can't pretend to know what's going on in the driver's station of other teams, but for some reason Techvikes, they just didn't climb. Like, okay, I know why they didn't climb. It's because the backside of their hooks for some reason didn't lower during Auton, meaning they couldn't make it under the low bar, but I like to imagine the drivers in this situation, like, okay, go, climb, back up, look, our hooks, they're up! Crap, okay, let's go around, all the way around, we'll come from the back, okay. Alright, Comets are up, keep going, I am! Keep going, don't bump them, be careful! It's fine, they have enough room, I just need to... Back up! Okay, I'll deploy the climber. Okay. Are you gonna deploy it? Come on! It's out! Move! Come on! Techvikes, I feel your pain. I really, truly do. And speaking of pain, our next match is match 9, meaning right off the heels of the last match, we have to go back into the queue. In this match, we're paired up with our good old pals, that one team. Anyways, I'm not going to talk too much strategy going in because there's not really much to do other than cycle cargo. Also, won't be showing the full match for brevity's sake. And also, the match is just kind of robots chucking balls anyways. Match starts and our Auton works perfectly, sinking 2 cargo. That one team makes 1 in and... okay. Blue Alliance makes some cargo as well, and the scores are 18-16 going into driver control. Not soon after, both us and that one team make 2 cargo into upper. Then for the rest of the match, we kinda just didn't do well. There's large spans of time where we're just fumbling around trying to get cargo, and when we do, more often than not, we miss or the cargo bounces out. That one team does better than us, but even they drop a few throughout the match. At 30 seconds, that one team goes to climb, and 35-46 Buck and Gears do the same. We attempt to climb before the match ends, but can't quite seem to latch on. Scores come up, and yeah, we lost. We definitely could have done better, but Oh, look at the time! Our next match is match 12, meaning we have to go back out into the queue yet again immediately. The only thing to note for this match is that we're most likely going to get absolutely crushed. We're against 3458 Code Blue, 2405 the Flying Dorito Techno Trojans, and 288 Robo Dogs. And our alliance is 8611 Cyber Patriots and 7210 Robo Jackets, who, bless their hearts, are young teams, and therefore, how do I put this nicely, just aren't as good as the other teams that we're facing against. Unless all three of the opposing robots break down, there's not really much to look at here. And speaking of not really having much to look at, I don't have official video footage for the match. For some reason, the live stream that the footage is pulled from went down for matches 12 to 14, meaning all the footage you're going to see is from our own on-the-ground camera. The match begins. We back up to grab the cargo behind us like we usually do, but for some reason our intake wheels don't spin, meaning we don't pick it up. We shoot our one cargo and Auton ends, 10 to 8 us behind. Teleup starts, and it takes our drive team a while to figure out that one of our intakes is broken. Once we realize that, we adapt and use our other intake for picking up cargo. A little further into the match, we get behind Trojans and shoot 2 cargo into the upper hub, which, fun fact, we're the only 2 cargo made during Teleup. Impressive, I know. Shortly after that, we move to the other side of the field to pick up cargo and... oh, that does not look right. Sadly, we can't see it directly, but right here, while behind the hub, we push our intake down, and that force actually snaps one of the plexi pieces that hold our intake together, causing it to droop. The rest of the match goes about as you expect, though at the end we do climb to the mid-bar, giving us a few extra points. Match scores are, drumroll please, 82 to 22, and surprise, we lost. Only thing to note is that of the 22 points our alliance scored, 20 are from us, and the 2 points that weren't were from Robo Jackets moving off the starting line. Let's meet back up with the team in the pits to see what's going on.
So it looks like the intake broke. A piece of the intake broke. Do you have a replacement for that piece? No, I didn't think they were free. I didn't make pieces.
Just as Henry said, we don't have spares of that piece with us. We're essentially screwed here. We didn't bring any plexi with us to use in the shop, so we don't have any way to fabricate a new piece. Except we do. Let me introduce you to a mechanic that I like to call host advantage. Just like in competitive lobbies, the host has the advantage and first is no different. Our advantage? Since we're at our own school, we have the privilege to drive across campus to our build space with all of our fancy tools and materials. Our next match is 17, which would normally give us a buffer of 3 matches, but lunch is in between our next match, meaning we have roughly 45 minutes before we need to be in queue. So me and some of our mechanical members drove to the build space to start what can only be called a mechanical sprint. And this is also where I confess that I don't have footage of this. I was too busy helping get parts made. We needed to create extra plexi brackets. We also decided to fabricate a new hook for our robot. Our old hook isn't deep enough, which makes it hard to latch on correctly and leaves us swaying. Our new hook is box-like, and the spaces are much deeper, allowing for the full diameter of the pull. And I'm not bragging, but I designed, drilled, and angle grinded out this piece in under 15 minutes, which I think is pretty cool. We arrive back at our pits and begin attaching our new pieces to the robot. TJ works on the hook and Mo and Caleb work on swapping out our intake pieces. It's not just the one bracket that we made, we also made a new side piece as our old one was beginning to crack. We put everything together, Loctited it down, and head out for match 17. We're facing some pretty average teams, but our alliance partner is Twisted Devils, which, if you remember anything about last competition, this match is in the bag for us. We give the 2-ball Auton spots to our partners. 1701 Robocubs makes their shots, and Twisted Devils goes for the 4-ball Auton, but disappointingly only makes one. And the Robocub's human player makes the shot. He doesn't pop off or yell, he just nods, knowing inside that he's the GOAT. Scores are 8-18 coming out of Auton. Robocubs immediately shoot a cargo up. We also shoot 2 of our own, one making it in and the other bouncing out. Then Robocubs brushes against us and they hit our intake right on the front side and bend the plexi enough to completely snap it off. And not long after this moment, our other intake, it's at least still usable, meaning we can pick up cargo and shoot, but it looks like our auto-aim calculations aren't working either. Hey, at least at the end of the match, we use our new hook to climb and... you've got to be kidding me. Taking a page from that one team's book, we fall. The match ends with us winning, 15-72, being hard carried by our teammates. Going into this competition, we were expecting to do average to above average. If we did well during qualifications, we'd only need to win one quarterfinals match and we'd have all the points that we'd need for states. This was supposed to be our practice for states, more of a formality to get to states than anything else. But with each match we lose, the prospect of states moves farther and farther away. Our next match is 27, giving us 8 matches of time to fix up our robots. Our climber string that runs through our climber snaps, which means we have to completely disassemble our climber, restring, and put the whole thing back together. Which would be doable except for one little issue. We don't have enough new string for our climber. I again quick run to the build space and bring back string, and everyone else begins to repair the intake once again. Since, again, I was running to get string, sadly this portion didn't get filmed. And you may have noticed throughout this video that there are less interviews and talks with the team on camera, and that's because Alex, the person who did that for the last competition, was busy co-commentating the matches for a local news station, leaving me to be the man on the street, which, not going to lie, isn't exactly my strong suit. I was also busy helping out with other stuff as well as filming, and sadly, the robot takes precedence over filming. Thankfully, everything gets repaired, and we set out for match 27. In this match, we're against that one team, 6963 Blood, Sweat, and Gears, and 8397 Mission Control Robotics. On our alliance is 7911 Building Scrap Cat Robotics, and 244 Robodogs 3D. It's 3 average teams against 3 average teams. Overall, we have better shooter bots, but that one team can climb to traversal. The match is a coin flip, and I'm not going to bore you with the full match. Instead, I want to show you the highlights. The first of which being... you've got to be kidding me. For the 3rd match in a row, our intake breaks. We continue to shoot anyways, and the score is 28-30 going into endgame, with that one team already on the mid-bar. The match seems doomed, but that one team can't seem to grab into the high rung. They swing their bar over and over again, but can't quite latch on. We climb at the end of the match, and thanks to that one team not climbing higher, we're actually able to take the win, which is awesome. What's not awesome is our intake. It keeps consistently breaking in the same way every time, so we think about our steps. The plexi bracket, the screw, the churro, the Loctite, and the Loctite. Let's play a little game. What do you think happens when you put Loctite thread locker on plexiglass? Does it A, act as normal, B, not bond, C, corrode, or does it D, yeah, the answer is C. Loctite, surprise, surprise, is corrosive to plexiglass, meaning all those times we put Loctite on the screws, we were essentially dooming our intake. You may be wondering why this didn't happen last competition. Well, that's because we didn't put Loctite on our intake last competition. Sometimes in an effort to improve something, you end up making it worse, and this is a prime example of that fact. We have 7 qualifying matches left, and if being honest, there really isn't a lot to say about the matches from our point of view. We shoot a few cargo each match, not nearly what we should be shooting, and we sometimes climb at the end. Between match 31 and 38, we realize what is throwing off our auto-align function. Our robot is seeing the overhead lights and aiming at those instead of the sensor hub. Since we can't recalibrate right now, our best move is to program in manual aiming for the turrets. This is also where I tell you that our programming mentor was also helping co-commentate for a different broadcast. Our students are great, don't get me wrong, but changing, disabling, and enabling new code all at the same time, something is bound to be messed up. Match 38, we tried to use the new manual aiming controls, but for some reason it was always moving our turret regardless of driver inputs. Even with this setback, we scored an okay amount of cargo. Back in the pits, we fixed up the manual aiming mode, and for the rest of the competition, Mo, our mechanism driver, is using manual aiming to shoot cargo. And for such a sudden and drastic change, he handled it like an absolute champ. Matches 44 and 48, we make a fair amount of cargo, but nothing else to really notice. Match 57, our intake broke again, but was subsequently fixed for our last match. That last match we did pretty decently, making a whopping 4 cargo high, and we climbed at the last second. We still lost, but hey, at least our last match ended on a slightly higher note. The scores for these matches in order are match 31, 63-58 our loss, match 38, 54-60 our loss, match 44, 40-94 our loss, match 48, 84-10 our win, match 51, 101-30 our loss, match 57, 70-89 our loss, and match 64, 60-72 our loss. Our final ranking, 26th, 8 places from last. Yeah, not exactly a stellar performance from us. At Gold Lake, we were 13th, and while we did do worse in this competition, do we really deserve to be bottom 10? There are many robots ranked above us who are worse when it comes to raw stats like cargo shot and points scored, so how did this happen? Well, one thing I forgot to mention before is that this competition is absolutely stacked. Our competition for some reason has sort of become the battlegrounds for highly competitive teams, It's become a mini states, in a sense, where top-level robots come to do battle against other top-level robots. In this competition, 2 robots ended up in the top 10 in the 2022 season. 4 were in the top 25, and oh yeah, 10 of the robots at this competition ended up in the top 100. That may not sound like a lot, but when you realize 10 robots means, let me look at my math here, 1/3 of the total teams at this competition, that's crazy. It's even crazier when you remember that there are nearly 500 teams in Michigan. Being in the top 100 is a huge accomplishment in and of itself, and is a status most teams will never get to. So to have 10 of those robots here, yeah, that's insane. And if you'd believe it, this is historically actually one of the easier Kentwood competitions. With all these good teams at the competition and us being just okay, if we're partnered up with okay robots and are against one of these top robots, we're going to lose. And that's what happened. We had uneven matchup after uneven matchup. Even our last win was a product of an uneven matchup. Since robots aren't seeded for qualifications, there's not really a way to fight against uneven matchups. It's just RNG rearing its ugly face. But who are these top teams causing uneven matchups? Who are the robots crushing the competition? Well, I'd like to take the next few minutes to lightning round show you a few. To call Team 503 Frog Force incredible is an understatement. For the past decade, they've dominated competitions all around Michigan, even becoming a Hall of Fame team last year. Their robot is what our robot would look like if it evolved like a Pokemon. They have the same basic design and premise as us, but just better in every way. Every match they're scoring at least 10 cargo and climbing traversal, winning pretty much every match. The matches they lose in is usually down to uneven matchups, which is out of their control. Another top team that appeared at our competition was Team 3357 Comets. The robot is strikingly similar to Frog Force's, though Comets has a super slick orange and black color scheme. One of the most impressive feats of their robot is how their turret is always centered onto the hub, which gives no downtime for aiming between shots. Just like Frog Force, they have a beautiful traversal climb, and also just like Frog Force, they have a 5-ball auton. If you watched our last video, you should already be very aware of this team. 4381 Twisted Devils was a team that was always pretty good. Not top tier, but respectable nonetheless. That was until this season, where they came out the gate swinging, going 16-3 and winning their first competition. Everything I've said about Frog Force and Comets also applies here, except they have a 4-ball auton instead of 5. For the next team, I'll let this clip sum them up. Yes, that is a real mechanism on a real robot, and yes, the robot is called the Flying Dorito. Another consistently top-tier team is 2054 Tech Vikes. I've already touched upon them at the beginning of this competition back in match 6 where we faced off against them, and everything I said there still pertains. Phenomenal shooter, fantastic, if not slightly inconsistent climber, and from a look standpoint, it's chef's kiss. If you've been paying attention at all to this or last video, 4967, that one team, should need no explanation. Catapult shooter along with the traversal climb, which let them nearly win goal late competition, only losing to, guess who? The Twisted Devils. And while I do rag on them a bit for their climber, they've really honed it down this competition, making it much more consistent. As I've said before, that one team is a kind of rival for us, but they're not our only rival at this competition. 2771 Code Red Robotics Stray Dogs has been our long-term rival, who we butt heads with seemingly every competition. They were even at our last competition, though I forgive you for not remembering them because their role was to get curb stomped by us. But that was then, and this is now. And now, Code Red is a beast of a robot. Between last competition and this, they finalized their intake, honed in their shooter, and added a traversal climb. If there's an award for most improved robot, Code Red easily wins. Team 245 Atombots is another team who has quite the legacy. Almost every year they end up winning at least one competition and winning chairmans as well. This year they have a great intake, and as far as catapult shooters go, they probably have the fastest and most consistent I've seen. They also have a relatively fast traversal climb. The only reason they're not a top robot at this competition is because they have a catapult shooter, which can't rotate. Because it can't rotate, if a robot plays defense and pushes or moves Atombots even a tiny bit, their catapult will line up and they'll end up missing the shot. The final team I want to highlight is 3546 Bucking Gears. They have a consistent traversal climb as well as an extremely fast shooter. Only caveat being they can only shoot low. From a raw point total, they're good, but nothing stellar. But because of how ranks are calculated, this team placed rank 6th. Remember, if you score 20 cargo, or 18 if you got a quintet, you get an extra RP point. If the climbing score total is above 16, you get another RP point. With an amazing cargo output into lower and a consistent climb, this team was getting nearly 4 RP points a match. Even if they lost, they'd usually get 1 or 2 RP points, which is great for qualifications, but since only raw points scored matter for elimination matches, this team is realistically only average. With those team highlights out of the way, it's time to talk alliance selection. Again, if you don't know what alliance selection is, watch the other video. It's explained there. As I said earlier, going into this competition, as long as we did okay, we would get to states. But now to get to states, we'd need to win 2 quarterfinals and 2 semifinals matches to get enough points. Since we're ranked extremely low, there's no chance that we're a first pick for any alliance. Our only hope is to be the second pick for a team. And while we do want to be picked, we don't want to be picked by one of the lower seeds like 4 or 5. Lower seeds are more likely to lose because they're, of course, lower seeds. As far as team composition goes, we really don't add much, and so we're really looking to get hard carried. Our best case scenario is to be the second pick for one of the top 3 seeds. That would give us the best chance of winning. It's an interesting game of wanting to get picked, but wanting to get picked as late as possible. But with all this talk out of the way, I'll let alliance selection play itself out.
Our first place team is 33-57. Second ranked team today is 43-81. Our number 3 ranked team today is 288. Our fourth ranked team is 1701. Number 5 is 503. Number 6 is 35-26. Number 7 is 27-71. Ranked team A is 216.
Comets are first to pick, and they choose 503 Frog Force. Tooth Devils are up next, and they pick 2771 Code Red. 288 the Robo Dogs follow up by picking 2054 Tech Vikes. 1701 Robo Cubs choose 4855 Ramageddon. 3546 Buccaneers opt to go for 245 Atombots as their partner. 216 more Robodogs pick up 6090 Wayland Wildcats for their alliance. 3458 Code Blue chooses 4967 That One Team. And finishing up the first round of alliance selection, 2405 Techno Trojans invite 4004 Mars Rovers. Now, onto the second round. Alliance 8 chooses 904 DQ. Alliance 7 invites 7195 Twin River to round out their alliance. Alliance 6 picks 8285 Bionic Bulldogs. Alliance 5 grabs 858 Demons for their alliance. Alliance 4 invites 6877 Mechanical Mustangs to their team. We're now at the last 3 picks. It's now or never. Alliance 3 steps up, and they choose
7109.
7109 Chaos Theory. Alliance 2 takes the mic and
2771 and 2771, we're going to turn you red with 3875 left shot.
oh my god, we got picked. The competition isn't over for us just yet. Finishing off Alliance selection, Alliance 1 selects 244 Robodogs 3D. Okay, wow, a lot to talk about. Comets picked Frogs as their partner, which means the 2 best robots in this competition are paired up with each other. Yeah, not good. But in a stroke of luck, skill, we got picked for second alliance, and by Twisted Devils no less. The team who very nearly picked us last competition, but because of our inconsistency decided not to. And along with them is Code Red, who we actually beat last competition. Our entire alliance actually was at Gold Lake, which is pretty cool. As for the reason Twisted Devils and Code Red picked us, I'll get into that later. It's awesome we got picked by them, but we still would have rather gotten picked by Seed 1 for obvious reasons. That would have been the golden ticket to states. Alliances 3 and 4 don't really have anything too special about them, but as for Alliance 5, well, Alliance 5 is really strong. The captain is Buck and Gears, who I already touched upon, but their partner is Atombots, which, as long as they don't encounter defense, has some of the best output at this competition. This also gives Alliance 5 2 traversal climbs, which is insanely valuable. Their third pick is 858 Demons, which has alright cargo output, but can also play defense decently well, making this alliance a force to be reckoned with. The only other alliance I want to highlight is Alliance 7, whose captain, 3458 Code Blue, and whose second pick is 4967 That One Team. And because this is tournament seeding, they're the first team we face off against in eliminations, which should be interesting. But before that time comes, we need to talk strategy. Mo, take it away.
Our strategy is just be defense for until Code Red climbs the defense first. and then Twisted Devils are just gonna be shooting the entire time.
So you're going to be playing defense on that one team, trying to delay them from getting to the hangar?
Yes, we'll also try to prevent them from getting cargo.
The name of the game is defense, and that's why Twisted Devils picked us. Our drivetrain is driven by 6 brushless Falcon motors and a 9.6 to 1 ratio, which, if that doesn't mean anything to you, it means we're strong. Like, absurdly strong. So strong that no other robot in this competition, maybe even in West Michigan, can match us. This means we can absolutely bully other robots. Oh, you're in a position to shoot? Yeah, well, no, you're not. For the elimination matches, we've also opted to swap out our driver from Caleb to TJ, for the sole reason that TJ has been trained to play defense, but even then, TJ has no competition driving experience. We're driving eliminations with a new playstyle and a new driver. It's a gambit, but it's really the only move that we have. If we're going to make it to states, it's our only chance.
The Odd Life of Mo. Oh, hello.
How are you feeling about the match?
What?
How are you feeling about the match?
I'm feeling so good.
That's great.
I feel like we're gonna win this first match and go on to the finals.
No guarantee?
Just stop.
Code Red begins by shooting 2 more cargo into upper as we pick up a blue cargo and race to the blue side. That one team misses both their shots. Twisted Devils shoot, but Twin River pushes them too close to the hub, causing them to miss their first shot. Code Red makes another as we bully that one team. Code Red and Twisted Devils make 3 more cargo up high as that one team lines up to shoot, but we push them out of the way like it's nothing. They miss both their shots and retreat to our side of the field. Twin River chases Twisted Devils, but we stop the chase and both them and that one team get pinned by us. Code Red and Twisted Devils use that opportunity we created to add 4 more cargo into upper. We release the pin as all the robots move to the blue side of the field. Twin River plays incessant defense on Twisted Devils, but they escape to our side of the field as Code Red blocks Twin River. Our intakes get stuck down, so we're forced to shoot the cargo we're holding. Blue Alliance uses this break to shoot 3 more cargo into upper. Code Red then goes to begin their climb. We try to block that one team, but they're too fast and slip past us to the hangar. Twisted Devils shoot more cargo as both Code Red and that one team ascend to the high run. We climb into the mid bars, they go to the traversal bar, and Twisted Devils stays back to shoot more cargo. The match ends 91-66, but before we can breathe, Twisted Devils moves to the other side of the field to collect cargo. When they come back, Twin River comes with them like a parasite. With them coming from the bottom, we opt to race around the hub past Code Red to the blue side. Code Red tries to shoot, but the shooter breaks, making Twisted Devils our only scorer. As we get to the blue side, Code Blue sinks 2 cargo and up. Twin River is blocking Twisted Devils, but using their swerve, they're able to outmaneuver and get around as that one team shoots 2 cargo. We back off Code Blue as Twisted Devils and Twin River come towards us. Twisted Devils shoots 1, but they're too close. That one team launches 2, but only 1 make it. After the last engagement, Twin River's bumpers are falling off. Twisted Devils opt to look for cargo in blue hangar, and that one team tries to grab 2 cargo from our side but fails. We rush over to stop them, and they decide to retreat. Code Red blocks Code Blue, but Code Blue overpowers them and pushes them back. Twin River's robot got disabled due to their bumpers falling off, but they got disabled touching the launch station, meaning if one of our robots touches them, we'll get a 6-point penalty. Twisted Devils sinks 2 and Code Red moves to try and block that one team from shooting, but Code Blue blocks them, allowing that one team to make 2 cargo as well. We also try to stop them, but in the process, touch Twin River, giving us a penalty. Twisted Devils score 2 more cargo. That one team shoots 1 but misses as Code Red and Code Blue are locked in battle. We drive that one team towards them and Twisted Devils makes even more cargo. Us and Code Red fight to keep Code Blue and that one team at our side of the field. Twisted Devils take the opportunity to collect cargo on the opposing side. That one team makes 1 and Code Red and Blue butt heads in front of Twisted Devils who sinks 2 cargo. It's Twisted Devils versus that one team for cargo. If we want to win, we have to block that one team. That one team shoots, and we're a second too late, but the shot misses far. Us and Code Red squeeze Code Blue as they try to make a shot but miss. Twisted Devils shoot, but in tragedy, the cargo collide in midair, causing the second cargo to fall short. Code Red moves to climb as we drift towards the blue lines. We push that one team into the hub and Code Blue makes the cargo lower. Twisted Devils make 2 more as the scores draw closer. That one team slips past us as they make their way towards the hangar. Code Blue collects cargo on our side and Twisted Devils make another cargo. Code Red is now in the high rung. That one team is on mid. We begin to raise our climber as Code Red finishes their climb. Code Blue races to their side to begin climbing as well. Twisted Devils land 2 more cargo as that one team reaches the high rung. Our robot tilts as it raises, but it's off the ground. Code Blue joins us at mid and we're going to lose, but that one team falls. A miracle answered, and a step forward towards states. The team that kicked us out last competition, that failed to climb when we needed them to, and climbed when we needed them to fall. That one team is out of the competition, and we move on to the semifinals. In the bracket, Seed 1 bested Seed 8, Seed 5 bested Seed 4, and Seed 3 went over Seed 6. That means for our next matches, our opponents are 2054 Techlegs, 288 the Robodogs, and 7109 Claire Chaos Theory. Our strategy hasn't changed between matches. We're still going to play defense on the opposing robots and let Code Red and Twisted Devils score as many cargo as they can. Chaos Theory is most likely also going to play defense in our alliance, so we need to counter them when possible. Us and Robodogs both launch 1 cargo. Chaos Theory releases their cargo, but only just barely doesn't make it into lower. Twisted Devils toss 2 up high. Code Red and Techlegs both fire 1 off high. Robodogs and Code Red throw up their second, and Twisted Devils just barely makes their 3rd shot. Scores are 30-14 going into teleop. Chaos Theory tries to move to our side of the field to play defense, but before they can blink, we push them back to their side. Robodogs fire 2 cargo into uppers. We punish them by pushing them away. We very nearly clip Twisted Devils in the process, but they swerve around us. Code Red fires 2, only 1 of which makes it in. Twisted Devils then lob their 2 into upper as Chaos Theory tries and fails to stop them. Robodogs fire 2 more, but bad luck looms over and both bounce out. It's at this time that Techlegs realize they can't lower their intake, meaning they can neither collect or shoot cargo for the rest of the match. Code Red fires 2 as well, but managed to keep 1 in. Techlegs abandon shooting and begin to play defense on Twisted Devils. It proves ineffective as Twisted Devils make 1 and move away as Code Red launches another 2 into upper. Robodogs line up to shoot, but we race across the field and are able to move them out of the way before they can fire their second shot, causing it to miss. Twisted Devils throw another 2 cargo. Us and Techlegs drive towards each other. Techlegs win at first, but once we use more power, we shove them as if they were paperweights. Robodogs makes another 2 into upper, and both Twisted Devils and Code Red make 1. Robodogs fire 2 more cargo upper, and the other 2 robots sit on our side of the field, not doing anything. Techlegs leaves, and Twisted Devils and Code Red both make another cargo into upper. We now have double their points. Robodogs make another cargo, and Code Red launches 1 that just barely bounces out. Us and Techlegs then push each other around for a bit as Code Red pushes Chaos Theory out of their way. Twisted Devils make another up high, and Code Red makes another as well. With 40 seconds left, teams begin to back off and move towards the hangar. Chaos Theory manages to make cargo lower as Twisted Devils make another high. Robodogs launch another 2 as Techlegs realize that their climber is broken. They move the climb on lower as us and Code Red begin to climb. We rise at the same time as Twisted Devils continue to fire off cargo. Code Red just barely makes it to the high rung as the match ends 91-46. We were immensely lucky that Techlegs intake and climber weren't working. But will this luck stay with us for the next match? Chaos Theory again misses their shot. We launch ours and Robodogs does as well, but theirs bounce out. Code Red, Twisted Devils, and our human player all make 1 cargo upper. Twisted Devils all-time fails and Techlegs make 2 of their shots. They then try to collect more cargo, but can only manage to grab 1. Make that 2 cargo, but only make 1 of their shots. Even game coming out of all time. We immediately go to ram ourselves in the Techlegs, and both Twin River and Robodogs move to our side of the field. Code Red quickly fires off 2. Techlegs fire off 1 of their own, but they are under the chute, obstructing their shots. Robodogs as well launch 2 of their own, as do Twisted Devils, but their cargo collide mid-air, causing 1 to fall short. Techlegs fire a long shot and make it. As they do, we move to play defense. Robodogs make another in as we pin Techlegs. Using this opportunity, our alliance quickly fires off a volley of 3 cargo, all of which make it in. Robodogs retaliates with 2 shots of their own, but the second misses as Twisted Devils turn their robots. Techlegs just barely miss a shot of their own. We then start a wheelie and collide with Twin River. Twisted Devils gets another 2 cargo off, but 1 bounces out. Code Red as well, adding another cargo of theirs to the total. We again move to play defense with Techlegs, and Twisted Devils launch yet another 2 cargo. Robodogs get 2 of their own cargo fired off, but are interrupted when tech bikes throw us into them. We recover quickly, and together our teammates score 3 more cargo. Robodogs again fire 2 more in revenge. Tech bikes line up to shoot, and we race over to stop them, but aren't quick enough. Code Red cancels out their points, but Robodogs launch another off. Twisted Devils finish the flurry of cargo with 2 more of their own, giving us a +1 cargo from the exchange. We briefly tussle with Twin River before skirting off towards tech bikes. Code Red gets another 2 cargo in upper, and Robodogs miss their shots. Twisted Devils adds 2 more, and tech bikes manage a shot as well. Code Red leaves to begin their climb. Tech bikes score their last cargo and move towards the hangar. Twisted Devils quickly score 1 as do Robodogs. Code Red already ascends to the high rung as we move to climb mid. Tech bikes lift off the ground and Twisted Devils score 2 more cargo high. Tech bikes swing onto the high rung and onto the traversal rung as we begin to lift off the ground ourselves. Twisted Devils get another 2 cargo high, but then Robodogs climb onto mid, as do Twin River. The entire Blue Alliance is flying high as the match ends 78-58. Will that point lead be enough to offset their climbing? We wait with bated breath, and the winner is Red Alliance!
No guarantee.
Just stop.
The first time we don't make a guarantee of something, we get there. Coincidence? Jokes aside, we're in the finals! Having a robot break nearly every single match, practically losing every single match, to playing in the finals is some of the strongest emotional whiplash I've ever felt. The point threshold and exact point calculations are always a little fuzzy, but with this victory, we should have secured our spot at States. But before we can look that far, we have to look at finals. We're obviously facing Comets and Frog Force, so our general strategy should be to... What? Okay, our opponent isn't the number 1 seed. Instead, it's the number 5 seed. Let's look at why. Looking at match 1, the Red Alliance is doing great until about 60 seconds left, where it seems Comet's turret misaligns, and it continues to turn incorrectly and miss shots. For the majority of the match, their auto align was working perfectly, but somewhere between entering and exiting the hangar, something broke. And it wasn't just their turret that broke, their climber did too. Frog Force picks up the slack, but they just barely win the first match. As for the other 2 matches, well, the Comets are reduced to an impeccably designed chassis body. And even though Frog Force is every bit as strong as Comets, there really isn't much that they and Robodogs 3D could do in a 2v3, where the entire opposing alliance climbs. As a result, Seed 5 trumps them. And while it's sad to see the top robots out, this may be the single luckiest thing to happen to us this entire competition. Our alliance is good, but not nearly strong enough to beat the Seed 1 alliance in a head-to-head match. Seed 5, on the other hand, however, there's a chance. Our alliance is having a strategy meeting, so let's tune in to listen. I'm sure everyone in the stands at least is taking this moment seriously. Okay, well, let's check back in with the drivers, who are hopefully now done singing ducks. They're racing ducks. Well, if they won't take it seriously, I will. We're against 3546 Buck and Gears, 245 Atombots, and 858 Demons Robotics. I talked about this alliance previously, but to recap, they have 2 traversal climbs and great offensive capabilities as long as defense isn't played on them. Atombot's one of the few top robots without a turret, especially dislikes defense, making them an obvious target for us. Our alliance members should be able to outshoot the extra 50-point traversal, and beyond that, as long as we play decent defense, our team's cargo output should completely eclipse theirs. The matchup is incredibly good for us. Barring something breaking, it's honestly hard to see how we'll lose.
Can't lose. Don't flip that. Put that in if we win. Take it out if we lose.
We fire, but are slightly too close. Atombots sink theirs and Twisted Devils launch 2. Code Red and Henry make 1, but Henry sadly bounces out. Buck and Gears deposit 2 lower, and the red human player makes the shot. Demons get 1 in upper, Atombots misfire, Code Red makes another upper, as does Twisted Devils. Auton ends and Teleout begins. Atombots tries to come to our side of the field, but Code Red holds them off until we arrive and push them back. Demons just barely miss their second shot as Code Red makes another. We ram into Atombots, then Demons, which cause their cargo to miss. Every robot collects to the right side of the field, and 1, 2, 3 red cargo enter the hub. Code Red doesn't miss a beat and throws 2 more cargo up there as well. Atombots use the launch pad to shoot, but they just barely undershoot. Twisted Devils add 2 more cargo and Bucket Gear sneaks one in lower. Demons make another 2 shots and Atombots make theirs. Twisted Devils again putting 2 more cargo upper. Bucket Gears and Demons pincer us, but when we move out of the way, they slam into each other. Code Red sinks 2 more upper as this is happening, and Code Red and Demons crash together. This crash breaks Demons' drivetrain, rendering them near immobile for the rest of the match. Bucket Gears sneak another 2 in lower, and Twisted Devils launch 2 more upper. We begin to play defense at Atombots, and with a clear view, Code Red makes another 2 upper. We bully Atombots around, but as we re-engage with them, we turn slightly too early, slamming us into the hub and giving Atombots the chance they needed to score. Bucket Gears make yet another 2 cargo lower, and Code Red shoots one in a second, but in the worst luck possible, it collides with a shot by Twisted Devils. We corner Atombots and briefly pinch them along with Code Red, who relents and scores a cargo. Atombots flings theirs just barely over the hub. Code Red quickly scores one last cargo before heading to climb in the hangar. Atombots are holding 2 cargo, but we slam into them, tossing both cargo out. Code Red is already on the mid bar as we move to climb. Bucket Gears is off the ground and reaching for the high bar. Twisted Devils score 2 more cargo upper as Code Red and Bucket Gears simultaneously reach high bar. Our robot lifts itself off the ground as Code Red reaches traversal. Bucket Gears reach traversal as well, and Atombots reach the high rung. Twisted Devils fire 2 more cargo. Atombots cling onto the traversal bar. Twisted Devils score 1 final cargo, and at the last possible second, Atombots release from the high rung. The match went beautifully. With Demon's drivetrain wrecked, 7911 Belding Scrapcat Robotics is brought to fill in. They're most likely going to play defense, but with Demons out and Atombots having defense play to them at all times, the sole scorer is now Bucket Gears. If victory weren't secured before, now it's certain. This is our time to shine. All the hard work put in the last 8 weeks, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the despair, the delight, every breakage, every lesson learned was for this final moment. This is our win. We're getting a little too close to the hangar. Atombots sink their shot in upper. Twisted Devils make their 2, Code Red makes 1. Henry's shot bounces off the rim. Bucket Gears make their 2 lower, and the red human player as well just barely misses. Atombots misfires and Code Red makes their second as Twisted Devils finish Auton with 1 more cargo. We're leading nearly double out of Auton, but disaster strikes. Not missing a beat, Bucket Gears deposit 2 cargo lower, and Twisted Devils fire 2, sadly both short. Code Red thankfully makes 2 and Atombots make 1. Code Red slams into them to try and dislodge their cargo, but it fails. Bucket Gears try to grab a cargo but fail. They shoot the one they have and Code Red fires 1, followed by 2 from Twisted Devils, followed by 1 from Atombots, then a miss from Code Red and capped off by a final shot from Atombots. Twisted Devils make another 2 as Belding Scrapcats wander aimlessly. Code Red bump them aside but miss both their shots. Atombots make their 1 cargo and Twisted Devils picks up the slack, making 2 more. Bucket Gears gets 2 more lower as Belding Scrapcats finally play defense at Code Red, causing them to miss. Being trapped, Twisted Devils escapes through the hangar and Code Red slams Scrapcats into the hub. Twisted Devils fire off 1 before they're fully stopped, causing it to miss. They fire their second, which misses as well. We're leading by exactly 15 points. If we're going to win, we need a bigger gap. Atombots fire 1, as does Code Red and Twisted Devils. All the robots are now jumbled on red side. Code Red misses their shot in the commotion. Atombots make another upper as Bucket Gears make 2 lower, followed by 2 more cargo upper by Twisted Devils. Code Red fires 1 from the launch pad and Scrapcats bump into them, gaining them a penalty. The shot misses and Code Red begins to climb. Twisted Devils score another 2 and Atombots score 2 more along with them. With 30 seconds left, Code Red is already on the high rung. Bucket Gears and Atombots leave to climb, and somehow when Twisted Devils intakes a cargo, their robot turns off. The drivers signal for a ref as the Red Alliance ascends to the high rung. Code Red makes it to traversal and the entire Blue Alliance watches with bated breath. There's nothing else that they can do. Atombots makes it up. So does Bucket Gears. The match ends, and the scores come up. We did it! We're going to states off of a competition win! After 10 plus years of being a team, after so many close calls, we finally won an event. And it's such a whirlwind of emotions. So many different people's hard work went into this. So many things had to go right for this to happen. If we hadn't been picked by Twisted Devils, had that one team not fallen, had Comets not broken down, had any of those things not happened, we wouldn't have won. And over everything, this moment, it's bittersweet. While yes, we won, we didn't win. I mean, look at that last match. We did nothing, and were carried by our alliance mates. While I hyped up our defense for the commentary, in reality, we were middling to okay at best when it came to defense. Our impact in the matches that won us the event were minimal, which is why I say we didn't really win those matches. We just won them through our alliance. It doesn't feel as deserved as it should be. And maybe that's just my salty perspective, as 3 years ago my driving would have won us a competition had our third alliance member not gotten a penalty in the last 10 seconds of the match, causing us to lose by 2 points. I suppose it's somewhat poetic then that the fill-in robot Belding Scrapcats getting a penalty here is directly what caused their alliance to lose by 2 points and us to win the event. Whoa, we're still not done here yet. We still have awards to go through. We're of course the district event winners. Smile! But on top of that, we also
The Gracious Professionalism Award celebrating outstanding demonstration of first world values, such as continuous gracious professionalism, working together both on and off the field of play. The winning team exemplifies the principles of first, fairness, humility, positivity, and respect. The last 2 years have been stormy for everyone. This team demonstrates first core values through their community outreach. It's Team 3875!
a nice surprise to top off the day. And as for the Chairman's Award, even in our shining moment, it seems we can't quite escape that one team. With that done and over with, we tear down the competition and head home. This is the part of the video where I would have a whole mini speech about looking forward to states in a states video like this one, but I can't. Before we could finish uploading all of our states footage, our school deleted the account that the footage was on, destroying all but approximately half of it. The half of it that I do have, sadly just isn't enough to make a video on. So, to spoil that competition, we ended qualifications placed 14th, and we weren't picked at all for Alliance selection. Even though we played great defense in that competition, it didn't matter in the end. To follow up on our Alliance mates, Twisted Devils got to quarters at States, but very narrowly lost. They played in the Galileo division at Worlds and finished rank 25. As for Code Red, they also got to quarters at States and played in the Hopper division at Worlds, finishing up rank 41. At the end of it all, in Michigan, we ended up ranked 96, and just behind us, you guessed it, that one team. If you somehow made it this far, thank you for watching. This video took a ton of time and effort, so I'd super appreciate it if you'd share it around to friends, family, teammates, etc. We're going to try and be the first team to really do YouTube content, as there really isn't much FRC content on YouTube. So if you found this enjoyable, please consider subscribing and sticking around. This is just the beginning.